Hello everyone, it is the me, GamePenguin21, and today we are going to be looking at Redfall is not a bad game, and this is why. Call me unoriginal as you want, but in all honesty, I want to cover this one because this is quite interesting. Because, yeah, obviously, we're talking about Redfall again, and this one isn't actually based in terms of a PlayStation fanboy, which is weird because, honestly, PlayStation fanboy assault has become like my bread and butter, but sometimes you gotta look at the other side, and the other side is rarely important, or the other side rarely comes out with like the best videos in terms of ones that I can cover. But this one, this one's special in various ways. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into this.
What's going on, guys? It's the Cowboy, King of Entertainment. I'm back with another video, and today I want to talk to you guys about Redfall. You know what? I don't really think it's that bad of a game. So just know this video is gonna be epic. Cause I'm a cowboy. Oh, man. So honestly,
Holy shit. Okay, where do I begin? We are 30 seconds into your video, and okay, first big question. How is it that my intros, right? My intros from 2010 and 2011 are way, way better than yours. And I'm talking, I used a free fucking software on the internet called Panzoid. I would recommend that you do that because in the essence of this, you basically, like, no. No, dude. No. That was so bad. Even Harman Smith is laughing at you, my guy.
Redfall gets a lot of hate, and to be honest, because it's the first AAA game of 2023 to land on Microsoft Xbox Game Pass. And see, that put a big target and spotlight on the game where everybody was aiming and shooting and firing. Guys, I get it. See, Microsoft in 2021, and I keep saying it, they won the console war by launching in the last quarter in December two good hits, which was Halo Infinite and Forza Horizon. Now,
Sorry. Allergies. I'm allergic to your bullshit. But what kind of okay. So let's break that point down. So because they launched Halo Infinite, which has had very terrible post support, and is now pretty much dead on a rise. It is now pretty much dead. Like it's doing worse than other ones. Like even Destiny, I think, is laughing at it. And then Forza Horizon, which I will actually say that caused some really interesting things in the Salt world because a lot of PlayStation people were like, this game sucks, this game sucks, even though it was getting like 10 out of 10, 15 out of 10 reviews or whatever. And it's like, yeah, it was a good game. I will say that it did admit that. And this guy just be capping for Xbox is just hilarious. He's like, it's the first game of 2023. It's like, no, Hi-Fi Rush was released as a AAA game. And I think there had to have been like one or two other ones that I just can't remember thinking about. But Redfall was not the first AAA released game on Microsoft platforms. It really wasn't. I mean, there's a lot of other games out there. But this guy is going to completely ignore the fact that this game launched on the Xbox at 30 FPS, at least for right now. But it's Microsoft can do really good stuff. This is not their best.
but still, when those two games launched, they ended the year 2021 on top. And then in 2022, well, you no longer heard good games are coming fast. And you also no longer heard that Game Pass was the best value in gaming. So the thing is, being that Game Pass had a lackluster 2022, going into 2023, they had to be strong. And when we found out that, bam, Hi-Fi Rush got...
I mean, that is true. They did have to be strong, and you are doing a correct thing here. By the way, can I just mention this, like, really quickly? How is it that your background can be so interesting, yet so generically boring at the same time? Like, you're recording, like, this angle that you have right here, it's cool, but you are so small on the screen, and it's just, I don't know, like, a little bit more of, I don't know, something just feels weirdly wrong about this.
out of nowhere just dropped, stealthed on us. Everybody loved it. You know why? Because it came out as it was supposed to. It wasn't a AAA game. It ended up being a good game, a decent game. The people on Steam purchased the game. It looked pretty good. So then we heard Redfall was coming out, and it was going to be a AAA game, a banging game. The studio made a bunch of other great hits, and everybody was locked and focused on that game. And to be honest with you, if Redfall would have came out like Hi-Fi Rush, just a stealth drop, and it was like a $40 game, no one would have a problem. We would have just said, it's a game for Game Pass. But because this game...
I mean, yeah, that's true. However, this game was hyped up, and it was actually given time of day. This was going to be their big AAA banger for one of the, or at least one of the big AAA bangers for the year. So, yeah, obviously it makes sense to 100% have that sort of hype cycle, because that can actually help with your game and help with your sales and stuff, blah, 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 marketing. Look, the point is that you can say, like, whataboutisms all you want, but at the same time, what happened has happened, and unfortunately, they dropped the ball. Yeah, certainly, if Redfall was stealth dropped, it might not have been as lambasted as it currently is being, but at the same time, it still would have been lambasted as the fact that this game should have been released, like later, at a later date. They don't realize that, like, I think the thing that he doesn't realize is that it's not the game was released the way that it was released too soon. Well, I think that might be partially the case. It's not the fact that the game was hyped up and then released. No, that is actually part of the fact. Fuck, what's my point here? My point here is that the hype cycle doesn't necessarily cause the game to be bad. It's the incompetence of the developers that causes the game to be bad. That's the
game was marketed as the $70 hit, right? It was pretty much put up there as it was going to be the savior for Game Pass and Xbox. And that's why it fell short. But I'm here to tell you this. I played the game for over 3 hours, and personally, one, the big deal was it didn't come with the 60 frames per second mode. And honestly, if you didn't tell me it wasn't 60, it wouldn't even have bothered me. It was a smooth 30, right? It just played, I turned, aim, shoot. It felt good. I didn't have a problem at all. Now, gameplay, honestly, it just felt like a shooter game. You shooting and killing vampires. Now, was it like impactful, like a Call of Duty and stuff like that? No. Enemies was pretty much bullet sponges, but honestly, it was fun. Now, if you talk about the overall graphics, it wasn't that good. Like, the graphics definitely looked like an older gen game, right? And that was just a look of the characters and the environments. Just didn't look that great. Plus, it wasn't a lot of enemies. I mean, you could walk around for a while and not see enemies, but honestly, it still wasn't that bad. Now, the story, I mean, it's about vampires.
Okay, so do note, he is trying to defend the game, yet he is pointing out all of these things that objectively suck about the game. Let's run through these points really quickly. The graphics aren't that good. You launch with the 60 FPS mode, which, by the way, they did actually say that 60 FPS modes would be standard going forward. They did not keep that promise. They then said that the AI seems to be a little bit weird and that you could find enemies not around in a lot of places. Again, seems pretty like a disparaging bad point to it. And then let's look at some of the gameplay. That AI can literally be outmaneuvered by a fucking straw. Or probably more of a spoon. It's so dumb that the rocks that it came out of to make that are laughing at it. And they were buried for thousands of years. You're telling me that this is not that bad of a game because you enjoyed it. And you tried to ignore a lot of the bugs, glitches, and actual disparaging bad points to it. I don't know, dude. Seems kind of like It's kind of like.
It was just so-so, right? Nothing special. Nothing special. But honestly, it wasn't a bad game at all. I enjoyed the 3+ hours I played with the game. I ran around with friends. It was just fun. It's a fun game, and if you don't look at it as it's this big budget game, AAA game, you can enjoy the game. So I think that's where the game should be placed. Now, it's unfortunate for the people that did spend $70. I think those people should really be upset and have a gripe. But guess what? Microsoft Xbox allow you to have Game Pass to supplement that $70 price tag. See, imagine having a game for $70, or you could get it for $10 or $15. That's such a big discount. Honestly, I can't be mad at the game, and I gotta thank Microsoft for actually allowing me to spend that little bit of money and get that game. I mean, imagine if they did have a killer game. Like, let's say Hellblade 2 comes out, right? And just imagine, right?
Okay, so, So what you're telling me is that if you completely disassociate and discount the fact that this game, right? If you completely discount the fact that this game had fucking texture and poppin' stuffs in the gameplay that you just showed, had a lot of other issues that other people are reporting and say that, oh, it's not meant to be a AAA release, even though it was hyped up to be that way and was marketed as a AAA release. Literally what you said at the top of the video, right? And then just say, oh no, it's supposed to be more of a $30 game and not a full price $70 game. $70 game, by the way, you said. And saying, oh, well, it's also supposed to be played on Game Pass. What kind of bizarro logic do you have to follow in that context? And I'm talking bizarro as in like Bizarro Superman, because that's the exact same like bizarro logic that a lot of PlayStation fanboys also seem to follow, but just in the opposite direction. It's like, oh, the game sucks on Xbox. That's because our place to play is the best place to be, completely ignoring places like the PC and other places. I mean, come on. It's not like, the AAA gaming sphere has gotten very much worse and has had a lot of problems with it and seems to kind of be following that trend that it did in the 80s when the crash happened and blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, but you're only like 20-something. You weren't around for the crash of the 80s. It's like, I don't care. That's not the point. The point is, right? The point is, you literally have to completely rewrite the history in your brain of this game in order for it to be good in this man.
It's next year or whenever it is, right? And it's an amazing game. Imagine if it go and be game of the year. You guys would be so ecstatic and you'll be bragging that you spent only $15 or $10 to get that game. So honestly, I don't really think we should be that mad about Redfall because honestly, yeah, I don't think it's a $70 game. But guess what? You don't have to spend $70. You can spend $10 or $15. I'm just saying. And not to mention, you're going to get like 400 other games that comes with that price tag. Like, if this isn't the deal of all deals, I don't know what to say. So anyway, guys, that's the video. My bad. So anyway, guys, that's the video I have for you today. Redfall, honestly, yeah, I don't think it's that bad of a game. And I think you guys should give it a try. Listen, if you don't have an Xbox, save yourself.
Okay, so because Game Pass exists, that means that you should excuse whenever Microsoft fucks up. No. Let me explain why. Come here. Let me explain why and listen very closely. While to me, and my personal opinion is options are never a bad thing. Options are great. If you take away options, fuck that, because options make things better. But that comes with the caveat that you still have to put the fucking work in. For me, the options are only good if the actual people put the fucking work in. Like, I will never say that Game Pass is bad. But I will say that because Redfall fucking became the way that it is in the heaping trash fire that it became, it does not justify anything just because Game Pass exists, because they can probably subsidize that stuff. It's like, that's not how this works. How it works is you produce a product that a person or people can enjoy, and that makes you fucking money in this context. The options as to where to buy it is also good, because the more places that you can buy it, the better is for the consumer, which is why people on PC, like myself, hate exclusivity, because it takes away that consumer choice, which is why we like it when ports happen, because that means consumer choice gets restored. But you should not be, quote, not really quote, but you shouldn't be forced into purchasing a specific product or a specific way because the price on other places sucks more. That's a pricing difference, and that's completely and utterly a marketing thing. So he's saying because he fell for the marketing ploy or the marketing speak in this context, you should excuse all of the bad shit that is with Microsoft. But let me reframe it, and let me explain why that is a fucking stupid thing, okay? If you go to the grocery store, right, and you see a 2-for-1 deal on cheese, right? You buy the cheese. It's a good deal. It's a good deal on cheese. Nice. However, that 2-for-1 deal only applies to a specific type of cheese, and that specific type of cheese, as you've noticed on the actual thing, that specific type of cheese is about to expire in 2 weeks. So you have 2 weeks to eat this cheese, but at the same time, it still sucks because it's disgusting. And then when you get home, right, you get home and you eat the cheese and you realize that it was actually mislabeled and that it actually expired 2 weeks prior. And now it's disgusting and you are on the toilet. That to me doesn't sound good. Just because the deal is good doesn't mean that the product that you purchase from that deal should be excused for being a bad product. Anyway, I think that I've explained that point enough. And there's another 2 minutes left of this video, but I don't think I'm gonna really get through the whole thing. The guy just goes on and, seems to explain the points and stuff. But in all honesty, whether he's a troll or not, whether anything else, not that. The Cowboy, king of entertainment, you are now on the shit list radar. Prepare for some videos. Anyway, my name is TheGamePage21. This video is very interesting because we don't get to see Xbox solve this potent. And a peace.